I'm an instructor of capoeira. I teach at the New Haven Capoeira Center. My martial art is capoeira.
Okay, so what got you into capoeira?
It was free and taught at Norwalk Community College, and I was good at handstands. And I just liked the style. People were dancing a lot at that time. This was like '99, and like a lot of breakdancers were taking it, and my friends were b-boys, and it was free. So we just decided to go down there and see what it was about. And I stuck with it for a couple years. I've been doing it like 13 years now. It's just part of my life.
Okay, so what's capoeira's background, its origins, and all that for people who don't know?
It's Afro-Brazilian martial arts and dance. Includes martial arts, music, dance, acrobatics, some grappling. It's a system that came partially from Africa, from the slaves. It spread through the slave trade. Went to Brazil. Brazil, they combined various different martial arts styles and magic and all kinds of religion, because they separated the tribes of slaves, tribes of Africans, and different slaves from different places. They separated them so they couldn't talk. So eventually all these different tribes, they had to talk and share their strengths. Then eventually capoeira was formed because slaves were going into the fields to do their dance, to do whatever it was that they do, their religion, their martial arts, their ability to create warriors out of people who were suffering. And they called it capoeira because they'd say, where are the slaves? They're out in the capoeiras. It means like thin-bladed grass.
Oh.
And they would stand in circles like this, clap, and you couldn't see really what they were doing. And when the slave masters would come, they would just pretend like they were dancing, and they were weird, and what are they doing? So they didn't really thought it was martial arts. They used this martial art to free other slaves. They'd take them back into the quilombos in the Amazon, and they'd go back and free more slaves. Eventually they created armies, and then they held off the British for like 10 years or something like that.
Really?
I
didn't even know that.
Went to the streets, and there were like outlaws of capoeira, and then the history progressed. It was outlawed, and so the dance was very much introduced to make sure that it was disguised. And then history unfolded, and then eventually Mestre Bimba went to the dictator to say, this is a legit martial art, I want to teach it. They invited him there because soldiers tried to attack him from the Brazilian army, and he slaughtered like 6 of them with bare hands. They all had weapons.
So capoeira is an effective fighting style?
I guess it was then, and it is now. If you train and use it, yeah, it can be very effective.
Oh, cool.
I think now it's more like sport and a way to self-expression, the ultimate system of self-actualization.
And what is it for you?
Expression, self-actualization. It's a way to keep my water clean and drink from it and be healed and revived against society, against myself, against whatever comes my way.
Sounds very shamanic.
Yeah, there's a lot to that. It's very ritualistic. You know, we want peace, we want harmony, we want, you know.
So you also do the spiritual side of the martial art as well?
It's hard to separate it, yeah.
Yeah, that's actually pretty good. A lot of martial artists tend to divide the two.
Yes.
One group tends to just want ground and pound. The other group is like, you know, all Jedi-ish.
There's a lot of those too, yeah. There's a lot of the candomblé and the religions of Brazil and Africa that come into play, and there's those who do it and those that don't.
What do you teach?
Where do I teach?
What do you teach?
I teach at the New Haven, Connecticut Capoeira Center.
New Haven, Connecticut Capoeira Center.
Officially, and I teach kids here in Waterbury.
That's really good. So, and how long have you been teaching for?
6 years.
6 years? And in capoeira, I know in karate and in judo you have belt rankings. For like in karate, you get a stripe every time you finish a kata. In judo, you get a stripe every time you show improvement in a throw or a grapple. So, how do you move up in capoeira?
Your first belt you get just by learning the basic moves like jinga, basic kicks, you know, basic ritualistic things that we do in capoeira, basic understanding of how to play the game with another person. And then you get your first belt. It's very simple. The second belt you get when you move into the intermediate stage, you learn music and how to sing and how to play all the instruments and the etiquette of the game, the etiquette to play with masters, the etiquette to play with guests, and you keep ascending as you learn, and your master tells you when you're ready, and you move up.
And then when do you become a master?
It's like 20-something years, I think, if
you
practice consistently.
Okay.
Your master will recognize your work as a professor. There's 3 professional titles. One's instructor, the second is professor, and the third is master, as I know it. And there's several divisions of each.
Oh, wow.
In different schools and different federations, they have different systems, but it's all pretty much the same. Instructor, professor, master for most of them, but there's little variations.
And who's your master?
My master is Efrain Silva,
Efrain?
two-time Sao Paulo capoeira champion.
Really? I have to meet this man.
You should. He's the guy you want to interview. He taught me. He's the guy you definitely want to interview.
All right. Well, thank you very much for the interview.
What's your name?
Danny.
Danny. I'm Nick. Sorry, my hands.
It's all right. I don't care. All right. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.